Good evening, Chair calls to order Legislative Session Day 26-008. I would ask you to please join us for the pledge led by our Cub Scout Troop 865 from Jarrettsville. Would you like to come forward, please? Be followed by our opening prayer by Councilman Bennett.
Hey, Jake, remember, you're taking the lead on this, buddy. All right, Jack.
Even Councilman Riley, they always mess the name up.
What did Art Linklater say? Kids say the craziest
That's
things.
right.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready. Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for being with us tonight. Help us tonight to be people who are slow to speak and quick to listen. Let us be people who reach out our hands open to one another, knowing that when we help a neighbor, we are loving you. Thank you for the young people who are with us tonight, for we were once them and they will one day be us. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you, fellas.
Thanks, Troop. Thanks for calling me out, Jack.
Good job, Jack. Come back and do it again.
Agenda number 4, presentation of proclamations, Development Disabilities Awareness Month, March 2026. Ms. Robert.
Ready? Whereas Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month observed each March, as first proclaimed nationally in 1987 by Ronald Reagan to enhance public awareness of the needs and potential of Americans with developmental disabilities. Individuals with developmental disabilities are valued members of our community who contribute their talents, skills, perspectives, and accomplishments to strengthen our neighborhoods, workplaces, schools, and community life. And whereas we recognize the importance of promoting inclusion, accessibility, self-determination, and equal opportunity so that individuals with developmental disabilities can live, work, thrive fully integrated within the community, and whereas Pathfinders for Autism was established in 2000 by parents of children with autism, they have since grown into Maryland's largest autism organization and work to educate and train the community to support and improve the lives of individuals with autism and their families. Now, therefore, we, the County Council of Harford County, Maryland, on this third day of March 2026, do hereby salute Developmental Disabilities Awareness Month, Pathfinders for Autism, and encourage all residents to recognize, celebrate, and support the abilities, achievements, and contributions of individuals with developmental disabilities.
Thank you. So I'm presenting this to Shelley McLaughlin, who is the program director for Pathfinders. I'm on the Developmental Disability Commission, and so we look at all the organizations that are helping in our community and other communities. And the ARC and Harford Center highly recommended this program because they're doing a lot of good work in our community. What people don't know is they educate even law enforcement officers on how to deal with autistic children and adults when they're having a stop, when they're involved in the community. So they're looking at all aspects, and Shelley is one of the trainers that trains all of our law enforcement officers on how that works. And so as we look at mental health and disabilities, we want to make sure that we are identifying those individuals so that they are dealt with in a different type of manner. And Shelley, if you'd like to say a few words.
Oh, thank you so much. We're greatly honored, I especially as both a parent and an advocate. Pathfinders for Autism is the largest autism resource center in the state. We do workshops and trainings. We do family fun events. So we just last weekend rented out the Science Center for a night. We'll rent out the aquarium for a night. We do sailing, baseball games. We have several baseball games coming up this summer. Ladue Gardens, which is up here. And everything that we do for families is free of charge. And truly, our programs are open to more than just individuals with autism. We really include people of all different developmental disabilities. So we welcome all families, and I thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Must be the new Nikon. What's your state of the holiday?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda number 5, consideration of petitions, applications, appointments, and nominations. Executive appointments, Environmental Advisory Board. May I have a motion for the new appointments?
Council President, I move to approve the new appointments of Nancy Post and Ralph Kaminga.
Thank you. May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. It's been moved and seconded to approve the new appointments. Is there any discussion? Ms. Dixon?
Mr. President?
Aye.
Mrs. Robert?
Aye.
Mrs. Emhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Giangiordano?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Bolsados?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
There being 7 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, the appointments are hereby approved. Harford County Liquor Control Board may have a motion for the reappointments of,
Council President, I move to approve the reappointments of Stephen Sines and James Walters.
may I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. It's been moved and seconded to approve the reappointments. Is there any discussion? Mr. Giangiordano?
So I just want to mention James Walters here. Last time he came up, he had his work address, and I think I gave him a hard time for that. So, I understand why he put it there, so no issues this time. Thanks, James, and I've worked with the Liquor Board on a bunch of different things. We've got a lot of small businesses opening up here. I know some people have reached out to me, and I've talked to a couple of you guys, and I want to appreciate all your hard work and efforts for all the community restaurants and everything that's opening up in here. I think it's a vital part for our community to make sure that, you know, we get things to go along smoothly. So thank you, gentlemen.
Anyone else? I too would just like to comment that I believe things have been running much smoother at the Liquor Board for quite some time now, so I appreciate that very much. Ms. Dixon?
Mr. President?
Aye.
Mrs. Robert?
Aye.
Mrs. Emhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Giangiordano?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Bolsados?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
Being 7 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, the appointments are hereby approved. Both gentlemen, I believe, are in the audience. Would you stand and be recognized, please? Six, special presentations. We have none. 7, approval of minutes. Public hearing February 17, 2026. Legislative Day 25-006, February 17, 2026. Are there any corrections to the minutes? There being no corrections, the minutes stand approved. 8, introduction and consideration of resolutions. Resolution 00226, pilot agreement, St. John's Commons. May I have a motion, please?
Council President, I move to approve the resolution 002-26.
May I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 00226. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Ms. Dixon?
Mr. President?
Aye.
Mrs. Robert?
Aye.
Mrs. Emhoff?
Aye.
Mr. Giangiordano?
Aye.
Mr. Riley?
Aye.
Mrs. Bolsados?
Aye.
Mr. Bennett?
Aye.
There being 7 votes in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, resolution 00226 is hereby approved. Mr. Giangiordano, please read resolution 00726 into the record for introduction.
Resolution 007-26, Master Water and Sewer Plan Update Spring 2026 as introduced. Introduced by the Council President Vincenti at the request of the County Executive. Resolution providing for the adoption of the Master Water and Sewer Plan Spring 2026 update, a copy of which is attached hereto for the submission of the plan to the Maryland Department of the Environment for its approval and implementation pursuant to Title IX of the Environment, Article of the Maryland Annotated Code, public hearing scheduled on Tuesday, April 7th, 2026, at 7:15 p.m. in these council chambers.
Thank you. 9, introduction of bills, we have none. 10, introduction and consideration of amendments, none. 11, call for final reading of bills, none. 12, enrollment of bills, none. 13, unfinished business, none. 14, new business, none. 15, comments and input from attending citizens.
There's no one signed up, Mr. President.
Thank you. 16, business from council members. Ms. Robert.
Boy, that was fast. I was like, okay. Good evening, everyone. Within the past week, I've been pretty busy. With Council President Vincenti on February 19th, I went to the Inter-County Outreach Evening of Connection, which was great. The announcement was that Inter-County Outreach was going to now be, took under their wing Fresh Start, and they're gonna work hand in hand in order for Fresh Start to be able to accommodate more households with the free furniture that is needed. So I think it's a great connection, and it will benefit both agencies. While I was doing that, Debbie was attending the Social Services Advisory Board meeting on my behalf. And then I did take a tour of behavioral interventions. What I found to be interesting is they accepted children from 18 months to 10 years of age, and they accept medical insurance. So if any children who are out there who need those autistic services for education purposes, I would highly recommend. They have tons of openings for children at this time. On February the 23rd, I had the Commission on Disabilities meeting. There's lots of events coming out for children and adults, so just keep an eye out on them, and I will announce them as they come forward. But we're talking about getting more things for individuals to be able to have the ability to have some entertainment and some other things. I believe we all went to Greater Harford Night on the 24th, and that was good to see a lot of us there and be able to talk to our fellow colleagues. On February 26th, myself and Councilwoman Imhoff attended the Medco's second Build the Future Over Breakfast event. The primary conversation on that was data centers. What does that look like? What's the cost of that? What does that look like in the communities and across the country? It was an interesting conversation, which led us to have some further questions and maybe some further conversations in the future. And that evening, I went to the Northern Maryland Technology Council Visionary Awards and did proclamations for the council. February 27th, I had a Susquehanna Workforce Board meeting, and we're discussing more of the budget and what that looks like for continuing to provide programs for our youth and for those in college to be able to continue with workforce trade programs. And attended that same day the Health Department's Minority Health Program. That was an interesting conversation on kidney disease and sickle cell and how that affects our minority communities. And for everyone who didn't know, March is Women's History Month, and this year's theme is Leading Change in Women. And today is on March 3rd in 1913, it was National Women's Suffrage Parade. And so 5,000 women marched up Pennsylvania Avenue in Washington, D.C., demanding the right to vote. So that is all for me.
Thank you, Ms. Robert. Ms. Imhoff?
To piggyback off of Councilwoman Robert, March is Women's History Month, and I want to take this time to honor the women who have paved the way and made it possible for so many of us to serve and lead today. It is not only a time to reflect on the past, but also encourage the next generation of young women to lead with confidence, integrity, and purpose. I'm especially thankful for the mentors who shaped my path and modeled true leadership. I'm also mindful of the young girls in our community who are watching us, learning what leadership looks like, and starting to recognize their own limitless potential. May we continue to lead in a way that inspires and supports them and reminds them that there are no limits to what they can achieve. I am proud to stand along by so many women in our community who serve, mentor, and inspire. Happy Women's History Month, and also happy Social Worker Appreciation Month as well.
I was waiting for that.
I know. This past weekend, the Humane Society set a new record on Saturday, February 28th, hosting the largest pet vaccine clinic in its history at the Abingdon Fire Company, servicing 546 pets, including 435 rabies vaccines. In addition to 72 pets were microchipped to help ensure they can be returned with their families if they're ever lost. Upcoming events on March 12th, Falston Library will be hosting their Puzzle Pandemonium from 5 to 7:45 p.m. This event is open to high school teens and adults. On Sunday, March 15th, the Falston Lions Club will hold its scholarship bingo at the Falston Volunteer Fire Company. Doors open at 11. And then on Saturday, March 21st, the Charlie Riley Community Service Scholarship Foundation will host their cash and bag bingo at the Level Fire Hall at 2 p.m. Some of the events and meetings that I attended over the last 2 weeks. February 19th, I attended the Harford County Library Board of Trustees meeting. February 20th, the Cub Scout Pack 899 Blue and Gold ceremony I was able to attend, which was actually really cool. February 24th, I attended Harford County Night Out in Annapolis for the Greater Harford Committee. And then on February 25th, I attended the Falston Community Advisory Board meeting. February 26th, attended the Build Our Futures over breakfast. Then I attended the Northeastern Maryland Technology Council with Councilwoman Robert, and then attended the Humane Society Board meeting, the Edgewood Joppatown CAB meeting, and attended this morning Harford County Public Library 5th Annual Women's Summit. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Imhoff. Mr. Giangiordano?
True. Follow that one, so. Quite busy, I have to say. As all of us are, different times, we all traverse around this county doing different things, so it's always a pleasure to go somewhere, do something, be seen. Definitely learn a lot about the county and different businesses and what's going on, so, but it was nice to go down to Annapolis. What was even nicer was we had other delegates from other areas that stopped in and wanted to partake in Harford County, so it was really nice to have that. I think even Brooke Learman was there and everything, so it really was a nice event. And then we did the CAB meeting up in Jarrettsville. The Chamber is celebrating 50 years tomorrow. We'll be there for that, and that's all we have, Council President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Giangiordano. Mr. Riley?
Yes, again, I want to thank Mr. Brown and Cub Pack 865 for being here this evening and leading the Pledge of Allegiance. What Tony failed to say, that he wanted to go down Harford County night down in Annapolis because he wanted to visit my wife. She took him out to dinner, and so he got a free dinner out of it. Also, I want to let everybody know the Harford County Chamber of Commerce is celebrating 50 years tomorrow. So if you get a chance, please be there for the Harford County Chamber of Commerce. That's all, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Riley. Ms. Sottles?
Thank you, Council President. I wanted to give everyone an update on the Harford Academy and New Elementary School project. This afternoon, I had the opportunity to talk with Kathy Bendis, who's the Assistant Superintendent for Operations for Harford County Public Schools. The project is now in the design phase, and it's planning on opening the 2029-2030 school year. The school is designed to serve 600 elementary students and 150 Harford Academy students. A video update for the Harford Academy community will be shared on March 19th, and my office can provide the link if you would like it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sottles. Mr. Bennett?
Hello, good evening. Thank you to our Cub Scouts for being here this evening. It's fun that you guys, it's a quick meeting, but you're able to stay through the whole thing. In 2006, so 20 years ago, I was a Boy Scout attending my first council meeting for my citizenship and the community merit badge. And 20 years later, here I am on the council. So, when I think about leadership and I think about the things that prepared me to be on the county council, I think about my time as a den chief and patrol leader, and then working up at Broad Creek. So it's just so great to have you all here as young people, and I can't wait to see what you do 20 years from now for our community. The past 2 weeks, I got to attend the Abingdon Fire Company Awards Banquet, which was a really great event. And I always enjoy being around those who serve our community as volunteers in fire and EMS. But also, the more I interact with the fire companies, the more I feel strongly that we have to start setting aside funds to support them in the transition, as inevitably we need to start bringing on career to help support them, for daytime driving shifts and the like. It's just one of those things that we need to make sure we're preparing for the future on. I got to attend Love Fellowship Christian Center's service this past Sunday and present a proclamation to Bishop-elect Dr. T. Anthony Thompson on his 20 years of service to our community and to his church, and that was a really nice event. It was really nice to be with his church and to meet his congregation. And then lastly, tomorrow is my baby's first birthday. Ada Ray will be 1 year old tomorrow. We're taking her to the zoo. So I'm very excited for that. With that being said, I hope everyone has a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Bennett. 17, business from the council president. We'll receive our copies of the budget on April 15th. And our budget work sessions for fiscal year 27 will start on Thursday, April 23rd at 9 a.m. And then again Friday, April 24th at 9 a.m. Monday, April 27th at 10 a.m. and Thursday, April 30th at 10 a.m. All of these work sessions are open to the public if anyone wants to attend. And then council will be hosting 2 budget public hearings here in the chambers. The first on Thursday, May 7th, and Wednesday, May 13th at 7 p.m. in the chambers. So just a couple of things real quick as far as events. Ms. Robert mentioned the Intercounty Outreach and the Fresh Start Furnishing event. Those are 2 strong organizations merging together to provide greater service to the citizens in need, and well attended, and a strong support for that both groups. So that was a nice event. Harford Night in Annapolis, we all were there. That was really good. Jarrettsville CAB meeting, I attended that with Councilman Riley and Councilman Jan Giordano. Yesterday marked the Read Across America Day, and I started that with the students at Darlington Elementary, the 3rd grade class, reading with them. And as we saw tonight, our children, you never know what they're going to say, right? So the most scary part of that is sitting in the classroom, you read, that's fine. And then at the end of that, you ask if they have any questions. So you never, like I said, you never know what's coming. But, they represent our future. We want to make sure that they have everything they need to prepare them for that. And it's always a great time. I, too, want to congratulate the Chamber, Harford County Chamber, for its 50th anniversary. And I absolutely want to wish Ada a happy birthday. With that, we'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you.